Right, so remember your perfect square trinomial that I told you about. There are two of them. Okay. Now, if I use x and y, okay, x squared plus 2xy plus y squared is equal to x plus y all squared. Also, x squared minus 2xy plus y squared is equal to x minus y all squared. Okay. Now, perfect square trinomials are extremely important when it comes to a technique called completing the square, right? The basic idea is that you need to create a perfect square trinomial from a given trinomial, okay? If the trinomial you are given is not a perfect square trinomial, then you need to create one from it, okay? So, the basic idea comes from these two trinomials. So if I give you a question, okay, let me just start with a simple one, number one. Make sure you pay attention carefully. Right? This method can only be used if the coefficient of the first term is a 1. So the coefficient of that first term must be a 1. If it's not a 1, then you must make it equal to 1 by factorizing. Okay, by factorizing or by dividing each term by that coefficient. So in this case, our coefficient of the x squared term is equal to a 1. Right? So what you do is forget about the constant, okay, for a while. Just neglect it for a while. So that constant term, let's take it to the right hand side. So the next step will be x squared minus 2x equal to 1. Alright? Then the next thing now is, for us to create a perfect square or to solve this quadratic equation, we need to add a term after this 2x. After this minus 2x, we need to add a constant term here, such that we create a perfect square trinomial like this one. Like that. Okay? I'm sure you can see that there is a minus 2xy, here we've got a minus 2x. So we need to add a term after it. Whatever term we add after this minus 2x, we also add it on the right hand side. Okay, remember, when you're dealing with equations, whatever you do on the left, you do it on the right. So, that term now, it has been found to be half of this of the coefficient of x squared. So you have to determine half of the coefficient of x, and then you square that half of the coefficient of x. Okay? You add it and subtract it, or rather in this case, you add it on both sides. So here, what is half of minus 2? It's minus 1. Okay? So what you do, say x squared minus 2x plus minus 1 squared. Okay? Where did I get this minus 1? It's half of the coefficient of x. Okay? Which in this case, our coefficient of x is negative 2. So this will be equal to 1 plus minus 1 all squared. Okay? And this becomes x squared minus 2x plus 1 equal to 1 plus 1. So you end up getting x squared minus 2x plus 1 equal to 2. Right? Then, on the left hand side now, we now have a perfect square trinomial. Now, when you factorize the perfect square trinomial, you always get two binomial factors that are equal. So, what will be the binomial factor here? It will be x minus 1. So we say x minus 1 all squared is equal to 2. Okay? Now, that factor, I'm sure you can see that this minus 1 here, this minus 1 here, is actually half of the coefficient of x. So half of the coefficient of x will be part of your binomial factor, always. Okay? Always. And obviously, you have the variable first there. So if you manage to get half of the coefficient of x, that number will be the second term in the binomial factor. Right? Then from here now, since we want to solve for x, we have to find the square root of both sides. So this will become a square root of x minus 1 squared is equal to plus or minus the square root of 2. Now I'm putting plus or minus now because once I take the square root of that positive 2, it's also a negative 2. Then from here you get x minus 1 equal to plus or minus the square root of 2. So in the end, you will get x equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 2. Okay? So we have got two solutions. Right? So that will be the answer. There are two answers there. So the x values are both sets. The first one, you can take the positive, it's 1 plus square root of 2. Second one, 1 minus square root of 2. Alright, is there anybody who has got a question so far?
So when you said that x has two values, that being 1 and plus or minus, wait, would that be 1 or plus or minus root 2?
Okay. If I go to the next page, I can write that as x is equal to 1 plus square root of 2, or x is equal to 1 minus square root of 2.
So those would be the two values of x.
Yes. They are both sets, but you can convert them to a decimal, but sometimes you just have to leave your answers in set form. Anybody else got any question? Okay, if you don't have a question yet, let's do one that has got a coefficient of x which is equal to, sorry, a coefficient of the first term which is not equal to 1. Okay, like say, okay, let's do number 11. Now, number 11, you have got 2 times x squared minus 4 minus 3x equal to 0. Right, then you remove brackets, then you get 2x squared minus 8 minus 3x equal to 0. So this will become 2x squared minus 3x minus 8 equal to 0. So I've now written it in standard form. Okay? Now, if you want to carry on here to complete the square, you have to make the coefficient of x squared equal to 1. Okay?